Today I figured I'd show you my rig, my bass rig. Oh, there's a mirror. It's kind of distorted, so it looks a little different maybe. But yeah, I wanted to show you my bass setup. I mean, the only video I've posted on here has been a video where my pedal board wasn't working for a little bit and it's been fixed, so you guys really haven't been able to experience my bass sound yet. And this is what it all looks like. Actually, I'm expected in 2 days when this is being filmed. This is being filmed on Tuesday. I'm expected to be getting a Morley Power Wah boost from like 1980 in the mail, because I ordered it because they're rare and I like the sound. And you know, obviously I'm inspired by Cliff Burton, and I've learned most of his songs. I've learned 17 or 18 songs that Cliff Burton's done. Almost 18. Or actually almost 19, because I'm in the process of learning Metal Militia, and I kind of have Anesthesia learned. I'm just not that good. But yeah, let me go through my setup and how I have my stuff. Alright, first up, let's go with my bass. I just looked up some of this stuff, but this is a Washburn Taurus T24. I believe this model is from 2006. But from what I can see on the Washburn website, this is a mahogany body, a maple and mahogany neck, and a rosewood fretboard, and it has custom JJ pickups, offset dot inlays, and Grover bass tuners. Anyway, for the Squier Bullet guitar, I don't really have a lot of information on this one. It has 3 single coil pickups, I know. It doesn't exactly say what wood type it is, but it's definitely solid body for the body, and it's a maple neck and maple fretboard, which I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but yeah. Volume and tonal controls and all, and that little thing there I believe controls the blend of the pickups, I believe. Like, I have it kind of blending all of them a little bit. I may be a little more lenient towards the bridge pickup. I'm not sure. But, just dot inlays, nothing special. But I do have another bass. Actually, I have 2 more basses to show you. Next up is this fine instrument, a Fender Precision bass. Yeah, this thing is pretty cool. If you want proof, there it says Fender. Alright, so it looks like they all come in either alderwood, ash, or cottonwood. And I'm gonna guess this is alderwood, because it looks like alderwood. Anyway, the neck I believe is maple, as you can see. This is a rosewood fretboard, and you don't really see many P-basses with a rosewood fretboard, but I'm not really a big fan of maple fretboards, so I have rosewood on this one, and it's only a 20 fret. You can't really go that high. It's got regular dot inlays. It has the regular P-bass pickups. I believe they're still Fender brand pickups. White pickguard. I might want to change that. I really like the mirror gray pickups. 2 knobs, 1 for volume, 1 for tone. And actually, the jack shorted out on this instrument, so I need to replace the jack. So this one doesn't really work at the moment. But yeah, it's a nice instrument. I really like this thing. All of my basses are 4-string. I don't really play 5-string or 6-string. Like, I'm not a big fan of 5 strings and 6 strings. I just like playing 4 strings more. I feel more comfortable, I guess. Alright, one more bass. This is my last one. I almost never play this, but it's some Yamaha Fretless bass. I'm not sure what name it has. I just know it's fretless. The body looks as it's maple. And the neck, I believe is maple too. And rosewood fretboard. Obviously no fret inlays because, well, it's a fretless. But yeah. Has P-Bass pickups, so I'm not really sure what this would be considered. But yeah. This thing, I have the old Fender strings that I had on the P-Bass from like the 80s on this one. And the strings are really old, and once they get replaced I might use it, but there's not really much I can use a fretless bass for in like metal, the music I usually play. I believe on like Sharp Dressed Man maybe, I believe he used a fretless bass. I can't even remember the name of ZZ Top's bass player. But yeah, this is a pretty good instrument, 4-string. As always, I believe it goes up to 22 frets, which is pretty high. I prefer 24 frets. But you know, 2 knobs as always. I never really play this. I got it for free, but you know, still a pretty decent bass. Not big on Yamahas though. Alright, now on to the amps. For my bass amp, I have a Peavey TKO 80, and this amp booms loud, as a bass amp should, you know. If a bass amp can't be loud, it's not worth buying. And then I also have a Crate G20 XL for my guitar amp. It's not the best amp, not the worst though. I could have a Line 6 Spider, it could be a lot worse. Anyway, these are the settings I used, and I don't really change the settings that often on my Peavey bass amp. Looks pretty much like that. If you want to look at that, you can look at that. I'll leave it up for a second, so you can pause the video if you want. Alright, anyway. My pedal board, I don't even know what this is. It's a Power Supply Arian, I think. It's old. It shorts out sometimes, but you know, it was broken for a while, but now it works. Anyway, first one I have is a Morley Power Fuzzwah Cliff Burton reissue. This pedal gets the job done, I guess, if you want to be Cliff Burton. I never said I did. I love Cliff Burton's tone, so I try to duplicate it, but I make some slight alterations because I don't want to be exactly like him. Anyway, for the fuzz settings, I have a level right about there, maybe an 11 o'clock. If it was 11 o'clock right now, it would look like that. And then intensity at like 2 o'clock, so if it was 2 o'clock, it'd look like that. Level here is more like a 2 o'clock. Yeah. And then my other use for distortion is a Electro Harmonix Big Muff. And I have volume right about there. Actually, this is what I use for Cliff Burton's tone, but when I use my own, it looks a little different. Volume doesn't really matter. Tone for Cliff Burton, I put all the way to bass. But if I'm doing it, I have it at bass mid. Then to sustain, I put it almost at nothing when I'm playing Cliff Burton, but when I'm playing my own, I like a nice crunchy distortion, so I move it up there. So that's what my bass Big Muff tone looks like. And that's what Cliff Burton's looks like. Pretty good distortion pedal. He did use a Ibanez TS9 or TS808 for a while. I want to get one, but you know, I'm fine with the Big Muff for now, because I have like no money. Then I use the Boss G7 equalizer. I don't really want to say those because that's a lot of settings, so you can just look at that. I'll pause the video. I'll zoom up a little bit. And there, you can just look at that. And yeah. Next up is the Boss Super Chorus. I'll let you look at that. And those are the settings there. And then I used an Omnifex flanger. The depth and speed knobs came off, so I'll just tell you. Depth all the way up. Speed right about there. Something like that. So yeah, there you go. That's my pedal setup, and that's all my basses and stuff. all my instruments. I do have an acoustic bass. Well, it's not really mine, it's my dad's, but he lets me play it a lot. Now I'll give you a demo. Alright, I have the Washburn Taurus right now, because this is the main bass I use. I use those other ones as backup. This is dry amp right now, nothing is being used. I'm going to put in the fuzz on the power fuzz wah. I'm going to put that on. This is dry, this is with the fuzz. I think it sounds pretty accurate to Cliff Burton's bass tone on at least Ride the Lightning. It gets the job done for Master of Puppets too. I use this for, yeah. Ride the Lightning, I mean, Kill 'Em All didn't have as much distortion. And I don't want to be a clone of Cliff Burton's. I don't even use this distortion when I'm playing my own stuff. Alright, now mix that in with the wah. My slapping skills need help, but you know, whatever. Now the Big Muff, this is that Cliff Burton setting that I use. Now this is going to be at the setting that I use. I like that crunchy distortion. Anyway, sometimes I blend in an equalizer with that distortion to get a nice, it just gives a little more oomph to the sound. This with the equalizer. I usually use that equalizer when I slap and stuff. Then the chorus I'll use occasionally for, like, I wrote a piece of music and I might even post it to this YouTube channel, and I blend that with the flanger. Yeah, the chorus gives a nice, how a chorus should sound. Omnifex sound, I guess. If you blend all of them together, you get my sound that I use for Call of Cthulhu. Might be a little loud, so I'm going to turn it down. And that is my bass sound.